this movement. We can aspire for greatness to make transformational change right here in Southwestern Pennsylvania. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And as I said, whenever we started, that we may have some technical difficulties. So thank you for bearing with us. Next, we're going to have Maryn Formley. She is the executive chair and founder of VEEEM Pittsburgh, the Vote Empowerment, Education, and Enrichment Movement. Also known as VEEEM, is a faith-based, nonpartisan, nonprofit organization dedicated to increasing voter turnout in Allegheny County. VEEM's vision is to propel people to the polls by facilitating community transformation. They accomplish this by providing learning opportunities so that individuals of all ages are engaged to become informed voters who not only see the value of participating in every election, but who can also visualize the legacy of participating in every forward as but who can also visualize the legacy of their decisions point forward as they become change agents in their neighborhoods and beyond. VEEEM was launched on September 30th, 2017 at Baptist Temple Church in the Homewood community of Pittsburgh, PA, where VEEEM continues to focus their efforts, though they participate in community events all around Allegheny County. Maryn will be talking about the importance of voting and voter registration and how else residents can take action related to voting.
Good evening, everyone. I'm used to people talking back, so it's kind of weird to not hear that, but that's all right. Hi, everybody. I'm Maryn, and before I get started, I want to make sure to give my thanks and gratitude and pride and celebrate the folks here in Plum Borough who decided to not just let the racist comments go ahead and have at it, but to stand up against it and stand in unity for Black lives. So kudos to all of you. All right, so you heard about what VEEEM does. And one of the ways that we do that is by holding community meetings. And with the coronavirus, we had to turn that into online. So it's kind of cool to be with a few people today versus nobody at all. However, the way that VEEEM normally does is we are trying to empower voters. And we want to get to the point where everyone votes in every election. And the way we do that is by focusing on history and data. So we have a PowerPoint presentation. We're going to try to work this through as I try to cue the next slide. I don't know how that's going to work, but there is a quick little 2-minute video that I want to be able to show you. Let me know when you're ready.
All right, and go.
Okay, so the video you're going to watch is actually from Juneteenth, but it's from VEEEM's national partner, When We All Vote. And it just ties together the history of why it's so important to vote in every election.
There is no video.
It's not doing it. That's great. It's not a link. It's not doing the thing. Okay. All right, we will post that. We'll post that in the event and on the page just so you guys can see it. So I will jump to my next slide. Is that one showing?
The VEEEM with the words.
Oh, keep going.
Oh,
that's
okay.
what the video is. I apologize.
Sorry, that's
See,
okay.
technical difficulties. It's all right. We keep moving. Okay.
There, all right, I got the video.
Okay, cool.
Let me make sure I share sound.
You can't see me smiling under my mask, but I am cheesing.
I know there's a button I gotta hit to share sound, so I'll try this. Tell me if you hear it.
Many of us are taught slavery came to an end with the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863. But for enslaved,
Let's try this one more time.
many
Okay. We had a buffering issue.
Okay. If we need to skip it, it's okay.
and
Come on.
start doing it.
Yep, we got it.
Many of us are taught slavery came to an end with the Emancipation Proclamation
We got slow buffering.
That's okay.
Yeah.
in 1863. But for enslaved people
Yeah, we're having issues with buffering.
That's all
Sorry, apologies.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me know when I'm back.
Come on.
We can just jump to the next slide.
Yep. Data turnout. We're on data turnout.
Okay, great. All right, so we'll share that video link with you later, just because, again, it's a nice historical 2-minute quick overview summary of how we got here and about how so many laws and policies and procedures are the very thing that kind of led to the climate that we have right now, and particularly with systemic racism. But we also, though, look at data. All right, so one of the things, VEEM, we love data, and we are always sharing it, and we are always looking at it. And so this slide that I have for you right now, it actually shows the fact that turnout for the county in our last primary election with, you know, the mail-in, the first time mailing in, the crowded polls, all of those things, was about 35%. 35% of registered voters actually voted. So that leaves 65% that decided to stay home. And that's 65% of the folks who actually could vote. So Republicans and Democrats, 65 sat home. So when we look at what we need to do, who we need to get in office, all of those things on all levels, it comes down to the folks who are registered and not voting. So we want to help them realize the importance of voting. So I went ahead and climbed through the data just for Plum, even though I'm used to looking at Homewood, but I looked up Plum and you guys actually hit the same average of exactly 35% right here in Plum. You guys have 21 voting districts here, and the highest turnout was districts 9 and district 18. I said I was going to see if I could find these polling locations for you so you would know whose neighborhood that was and you could be like, that's my neighborhood. But I didn't get a chance to do that. So districts 9 and 18 both had over 39%, which was a very high turnout considering that the average was 35. The lowest turnout was district 15 with 27%. But I will tell you that the lowest in Allegheny County was 4%. So at least even the lowest in Plum, I feel like Plum cares about voting about as much as everybody else does care in the county, okay? So that's pretty cool. So next slide. You might wonder then, what does voting have to do with Black lives? Everything. Systemic racism was created by laws and structures, policies and procedures at the federal, state, and local levels. The people who create all of these things are folks that are elected representatives. And so VEEM is nonpartisan. So we just want you to vote, but we want you to vote for the people that represent what you care about so that they can make changes to these things that need to change. These laws that are out here, like the stuff that Jerry spoke about. When we look at Governor Wolf just put out some procedures and things that he wants to put into place. They're talking about creating a registry named after Antoine Rose. Those are all very much have to do. And so every election matters because every election is an opportunity to put someone in office who might be able to push forward the thing that you feel will be best for you and your community, okay? So as we keep going about that, and we've seen it now, especially after the murder of George Floyd, how communities everywhere are standing up and changes are happening. Teams are changing their names. I didn't think we would ever see that, right? But I mean, there's just some really like awesome national things going on, but locally you can get done what you want to get done, but you do need to vote and you do need to support your candidates. Next slide. So I went ahead and looked to see, you know, when we talk about, because we do know that there are a lot of non-registered voters and we want to make sure that they are also voting. And so when I looked at the county, there are an estimated 300,000 folks at least who are not registered to vote. There are 900,000 who are registered to vote as something, no matter what the party might be. So you at home, you here, everybody, you guys can take steps to do these things. You can help people register to vote or update their registrations at www.votespa.com, which is really pretty easy to deal with, pretty easy to work through. Some people don't realize that when they move, they need to update their voter registration. Yes, you can keep driving across town back to the place you used to live, but why do that? Why not affect change in the place that you live right now? You can also, that's where you can also apply for a mail-in ballot at votespa.com. Next slide. Which the main thing that it leads up to is that we want everybody to vote on, before or on Tuesday, November 3rd. If you are not comfortable with voting in person, you should apply for a mail-in ballot. You should apply way in advance. Some people waited until the last minute and then didn't get it. And there was a lot of shenanigans on this past election day, but we worked through it. So it's very important to apply for your mail-in ballot before Tuesday, October 27th, but you can go ahead and do it today if that's what you want to do. Or be prepared to vote in person, but I have this capitalized no matter what, because lines are probably going to be super long. Who knows what the weather is going to be like here in Allegheny County on November 3rd. I don't even know what's going to happen at the polls, but you need to be prepared to vote no matter what, because it's important. And especially, every election is important, but we know presidential elections are like, everybody comes out for those, right? So be prepared to vote. Next slide. Another thing we want to make sure that we recommend is talking to people about completing the census. So if you've not already done so, you can go to the census link, https://2020census.gov. That's also important to make sure that you have filled that out for your household. That's how federal money is allocated. That's how we know where everybody is in terms of what the makeups are, how diverse we are. If you're not being counted, then how they can discount you altogether. Next slide. And we just wanted to let everybody know, because perhaps there's somebody out here that's listening today that says, I really want to register people to vote, and I want to tell people about the importance of voting. So VEEM, we do facilitate training for that. So that's something that, if you want to start a whole, VEEM out here in Plum, we would be down with that. So just contact us. And this last slide is just our contact information. In terms of, we're always looking for volunteers, we're looking for board members, we're looking for all kinds of things, but that's not why we're here today. We are here to make sure that you guys know about the importance of voting in every single election. We're going to share that video link that we were unable to play today, but do make sure though that you and everybody in your house that's eligible is registered to vote. And if you want to apply for a mail-in ballot, please do so. Thank you guys so much.